Oh, let's just make sure that this is working. Looks to be the case. Double check. And yeah, let's double check with a click. Ta-da! Yeah, we have sound. Good morning, everybody. I'm Spike. Welcome to my channel and learning Japanese self-taught in Rosetta Stone. So yesterday's yesterday's stream was this one, Unit 1, Lesson 2, Core Lesson. Having completed all of the basic first lesson, we're now into Lesson 2. Core lesson yesterday threw up some curveballs. So there were a couple of mistakes that were made. Nothing too bad. Nothing overtly terrible. But it did require going back over a couple of bits to be able to move forward with the methodology that I am currently following for myself to be able to learn this language. So today, as you can see, we're in progress. I haven't started the pronunciation, even though it says in progress. I think this might be because I have clicked on this and then just immediately backed out, so it didn't even get a chance to load the page. As you can see, the others don't have progress in there. So let's click into pronunciation and let's get ready to attempt to learn some more Japanese. No, let's reset the score on this activity, even though there isn't one, and set up the microphone as it always asks us to do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Woohoo! Here we go. So let's see what it's going to give us.
Ringo, ri,
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 n,
go,
go, go,
go, ringo,
ringo.
ringo,
Well, this one here, the go, was a little annoying. Apparently I shortened it just a bit too much, it would seem. So we can see the Japanese characters, the kanji, and then into the English. So let's repeat this one. Oh, it did give us 4. Oh, isn't that a shame? Well, there's nothing wrong with starting off with a first slide page with a restart, particularly when it's going to be pronunciation of singular kanji. Oh, excuse me.
ringo, ri,
Ri. I have
ri,
only just woken up.
n,
N,
go,
go. Again. Go. Go.
go, ringo,
Ringo.
ringo,
See, now I am going to have to do this one again because I was talking. Well, again, I have only just woken up. I've been up for less than 40 minutes. But a good tip that I've seen and heard over the years is that the best time to learn stuff is right in the morning when you first wake up. So hence my videos on this subject on learning Japanese in Rosetta Stone is going to happen in the mornings as much, just so that I'm learning the most and that it sticks. But as a result, you might find me yawning and apologizing a little bit. I'm not tired. I have just woken up. I'm all good. Ready to start the day and ready to start to do this. And as you can see, I've got to repeat this slide again. So third time's the charm. Let's go.
ringo, ri,
The,
ri,
n,
go,
go, go, go,
go, ringo,
ringo.
ringo,
That's a little bit annoying that the strictness level is not picking up me saying this exact same thing that the audio is. I think because maybe it's not expecting me to be as accurate as I am with some of these pronunciations, and I think it's actually looking for more anglicization over the sound, which would be more Western English accent, which is a bit of a shame because it's making me make mistakes in this that I need to repeat before moving on. Yeah, a little bit disappointed with this.
りんご、り、
り、
り、ん、
ん、
ん、ご、
ご、
ご、りんご、
りんご。
りんご、
Maybe it's because I'm saying instead of up. Maybe it needs to be a bit shorter. Who knows? Let's crack on. Slide 2.
牛乳、牛、
牛、
牛、う、
う、
う、にゅ、
にゅ、
にゅ、う、
う、
う、牛乳、
牛乳。
牛乳、
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. That was a nice easy one. Just a note on the kanji again. These ones, these binders, as I call them, the U's, the singular letters, they're the ones that I tend to look out for when we are looking in Japanese when reading, because as you can see up here, they give you the marker of where you are more easily, I find, in a word or a sentence, which makes it easy to. I don't know if anyone remembers, but when you used to be in primary school and they'd have like sing along videos or sing along assemblies or something with the projector, and you'd have a video with subtitles, and there'd be a bouncing ball along the bottom as to which words you were on, which syllable you were on, and so on and so forth. That's what my mind pictures when I'm doing this, where I'm trying to read the Japanese characters, the kanji, hiragana, katakana, and I'm listening to the audio and imagining the ball bouncing from one character to the next as I'm reading along with the Japanese characters. And these singular, the U, the U sounds, this backward C with the hat, the binders, as I call them, are what I look for in the words and sentences where I'm imagining this bouncing ball bouncing along them, right? I found it to be quite useful so far. I found it quite useful in lesson 1. Excuse me, didn't want to hear that sneeze on stream, obviously, or in the video. But yes, that's how I try to process and read as I'm listening to the audio in this program when dealing with Japanese kanji. Or sometimes now that I know a bit more about the language, being able to now understand some of the basics of the grammar and some of the basics of the pronunciation and that I'm looking forward listening to and can speak when watching anime or listening to those Japanese podcasts. Those are the things I'm looking out for if I've got the subtitles on, for example. So just a note there, again, as mentioned in lesson 1 in a couple of the modules, I found it to be useful to recognize the easier shapes that are less complicated and less convoluted, much like gyu or new, because that's quite a for a start, it's 2 symbols to represent the sound, and it's more furniture, for want of a better term, to try and read in one go. We are used to a singular letter, singular character in any given word, right? Whereas obviously with kanji, you are looking at um, a particular sound attached to the kanji symbol, and then whether it's a modifiable or a binder, right? Which for me, this is going to take a little bit more time to be able to take in, read, etc. So I'm doing the simple things first, like you would teach primary school, you know, what are your vowels? A, E, I, O, and U. You can concentrate on what those do within a word and how they are pronounced, and whether they've got any magical properties about them, like E has, or the before I, the I before E, except after C, etc. So with Japanese, these are the things I'm looking out for because they're simple individual pieces of information and a single character that's distinctive enough that's easy to remember to be able to figure where you are in a sentence. It makes reading the sentence of a word, no, reading a word that's in a sentence easier. It makes reading the sentence and where you are easier, so you can get an idea of how the sentence is broken up with what's being said. So it gives more of a placement idea, and for me, it's a quicker way of learning this particular part of the language, and therefore it helps learn it faster. So this is more likely to stick much quicker. Once that happens, you can almost discard it because you know what it is. It becomes automatic recall, which then allows you the headroom and the space to be able to start learning the more complex characters like you and new, etc., where you can then start learning the what would be the consonant stuff and the more complex modifications to a language. You know, whether you've got ings, whether you've got ed at the end, es, you know, whether you've got ch sounds, whether you've got j sounds, whether the j sounds becomes an sounds when you're, for example, gh at the end of rough, tough, you know, how that sort of thing. You can start concentrating on the more complicated stuff after the simple stuff. So just to bear that in mind, keep that in note. But yeah, that was pretty good for milk. Let's carry on to slide 3.
車、く、
く、
く、る、
る、
る、ま、
ま、
ま、車、
くるま.
車、
See, ku is going to be incredibly easy to remember. It is just open bracket, square open bracket, or it's more than bracket, should I say? If you're going by math terminology, that's going to be incredibly easy to remember because it's simple shape, right? Now these might be single characters, single kanji for the sounds. Great, fantastic. Oh look, we've got the ankh again with 2 hats, a T hat up near the top, and modified T/E midsection, but with this curve on the left-hand side. That's generally a little easier to remember than this butchered number 3, I suppose, for root. But yes, the ku is going to be remember. So we've got you in this one that are easy symbols to remember. Go into like the grammar portion of the module. So let's go to slide 4.
自転車、じ、
G,
じ、て、
te,
て、ん、
n,
ん、車、
sha,
車、自転車、
jisensha.
自転車、
I muddled my te up a little bit. Now, te we know from tabete in the entirety of the first lesson. So this backwards J, as I call it, for te, I already recognise. The N we already recognise as the H with the U built into the bottom leg. G is going to be quite easy to remember. It's it's a backwards J with a face, or turned into a face with the two um slice eyes. So J, T, N are quite easy to remember. Sha is going to be a little harder because again it's the backwards J without the face, and then it's got this funky P with hair. Again, it's a visual reference like anything else. It's worth noting that if you can relate something in your mind visually to something that you can recognize, usually that's a good way of association to be able to learn and retain information of something of importance and value. So again, yeah, in this case, J, T, N are going to be quite easy to remember for me, especially considering the two middle characters we've already come across plenty of times in lesson one. Um, that doesn't bother me too much for bicycle. Let's move on to slide 5.
運転、う、
う、
う、ん、
ん、
ん、て、
て、
て、ん、
ん、
ん、運転、
運転。
運転、
Again, another easy words to turn around and remember. Because again, now we're using, this is made up of 4 symbols that we've used and come across in lesson 1. This one's quite an easy one to remember, and as you can see, these are 3 characters total, because we're repeating one. These are 3 characters that are incredibly easy to remember what they are, with the English Ramaji anglicization for English, the U, the N, the T, and the N. And the shape of the kanji is quite easy to remember for each one as well. The N we're aware of, it's an H with a kick up U. The T is a backwards J essentially, and the U, it's on its side backwards 90 degrees with a hat on it, or it's reversed C with a hat on it. So, we're starting to build up this picture of relationship to the kanji from their sounds, that are the syllabic component to the language for making up words, contextual words, that we can now use these to figure out where we are in a word or in a sentence, so we can break up a sentence much easier. Again, if they appear in said sentence, but it's likely that they're likely to, because again, this program's teaching us the basics, with lesson 2. In lesson 2, don't forget, we're learning the basics like primary school level to start learning this language. So let's move on. Let's see what slide 6 has to give us, because again, this is only a 10 in
歩
pronunciation.
いています。あ、
あ、
あ、る、
る、
る、い、
い、
い、て、
て、
て、い、
い、
い、ます、
ます。
ます。歩いています。
歩いています。
歩いています。
So again, here, we've got the te that we recognize, and we've got the I that we recognize. The I is basically 2 eyes. Now these two, obviously, again, they're the ones that I look out for in a sentence. And we know what eat mass is at the end of most of the sentences from the core lesson 1 stuff, from last week, where we were looking at towards the end of the module, the immerse appeared at the end of most of the last module's listening and speaking sentences, that we were learning, right? So we are well aware of what immerse looks like, and taking the I and the T as the symbols that we're going to use as finders in the sentence, or in the word, actually. It's a no-brainer because they are simple, easy, relatable kanji to remember, in my opinion. I could be wrong, might be different for you. Um, I just prefer to take the simple stuff that's easy to burn into my brain, like I mentioned, to be able to associate it memory recall wise, to be able to see where we are in the sentence. So let's move to slide 7. What have we got here?
寝ています。ね、
Ne,
寝て
te,
てい
i,
います。
mas, mas,
ます。寝ています。
neteimas.
寝ています。
I don't quite know what's going on there, where I'm then speaking to the program and then it's just not picking it up at times. I'm not quite sure why. Let's do that one again. Oh, I got 4 marks anyway. Oh well, let's do it again anyway.
寝ています。ね、
Ne,
寝て
te,
てい
i,
います。
mas,
ます。寝ています。
neteimas.
寝ています。
And there we go, completed. So let's I'll keep this up for a little second so we can get down what ne is, with it being a new symbol. Again, another complicated symbol of sounds to remember. So my plan for learning the more complicated kanji characters, I'm going to go through this entire Unit 1 stuff, for the most part, in the English characters, right? For all of us to learn and to use as a learning resource, right? Whilst documenting my journey. Once I get to the very, very end and complete it, I'm not going to move to the next. I'm going to go back through it using just the characters. Because hopefully by that time, I have enough recognition of the basics through the methods that I'm employing and the program. I'm hoping that I will be able to at least read enough kanji to be able to then do this program or this Unit 1 stuff, where I'm then specifically learning the symbols I haven't learned, right? Which, again, through repetition and through knowing the speaking and pronunciation components, I should be able to pick up much faster than if I did both at the same time, because that's a lot of furniture to remember in one's head. So you can see why, or I'm explaining why I'm using this method to learn just the simple stuff first in the simplest way, to be able to get it burnt into memory so that I'm learning at a faster pace, even though I'm being quite casual about my approach with regards to learning this. And thus far, it's working, you know? So I'm hoping to go through all of the units at least twice, once in English and then once in Japanese, using these at the bottom. It will change from Romanji to Hiragana and Katakana, and that's my intention. That's my plan. So let's go to number 8. Let's see what we got in here.
何ですかな、
Na,
な、ん、
mm,
ん、です、
des,
です。か、
ka,
か、何ですか
nan desu ka.
何ですか
Another thing for replicating the sound of what the audio is telling me or speaking to me in this program, Most of the resources that I found, most of the native Japanese speakers who do or interviews and stuff, when they were asked what are the best things to learn um, for English speaking people, Westerners, etc., when it comes to learning the Japanese language. As I mentioned in the previous video, it's always learn your three alphabets, your hiragana, your katakana, and your kanji. And then focus on, when speaking, the pronunciation, the tonality, and the inflections of the language. It's a softer, more fluid language in its pronunciation, and therefore has a lot more nuance than English does. English, we get away with being able to have multiple accents and there not be much variation, sorry, in being able to process and understand someone, right? Even though sometimes here in England, you know, speaking to someone from Yorkshire when you're from down the south, or Liverpool or Manchester, or they're pretty heavy accents and they're all got variations to them. However, for the most part, you can understand what they're saying across the board. There will only be certain inflections of tonality where everyone in English has a drawl that tends to bleed from one word to the next, right? So that's where you'll find more difficulty if you're not from that area, where an accent might trip you up. In things in Asian languages, from what I'm coming to understand, because of the softer, more fluid and contextual nature of the language, it takes the tiniest tonality change to completely switch up the meaning of a word, the intention of what's being said, and it will change from being a statement to a question, or from something that's quite soft and friendly to almost an intimidation, for example. It can go completely the opposite way. So I can completely understand why a lot of Japanese natives have turned around and spoken on this subject when they're asked these questions, that pronunciation in language when learning it is incredibly important, which is why in this program you will hear me trying to replicate as close as possible what the pronunciation is of each of these individual components are when presented with them, particularly in these speaking pronunciation exercises, but also when I'm rinse and repeating the audio for a specific exercise, just because replication, copying it into my memory and copying out what I hear and stuff. You know, with music, I'm pretty good at it. And when it comes to like singing, yeah, I can sing in key, I can sing on note, you know, I'm pretty good at it. I'm not confident of my own abilities. And I'm fully aware that singing voice tonality wise, um I'm not a front man. I know the limitations of the sound of my own voice and accent, and it's more suited to harmonies, backup singing, etc. Um, but when I do sing, I can sing on point, on key, because I'm replicating what I hear as close as possible to what is reverberating around inside my skull. That's what I'm doing here as well, in the hope that I can replicate the pronunciation correctly, which is why I have the strictness level in Rosetta Stone set to being, you know, quite strict. Um, and that's because, again, on the research and the things that I've heard and listened to over the years and stuff, it only takes that tiniest change and you can completely change the meaning of something in the sentence you're speaking. And it's been confirmed so by Japanese native speakers when asked this question. So it's just something to bear in mind um, as we move forward through this, that the pronunciation of this stuff is key. And that's what I'm trying to get spot on. It's not just learning the language and learning the kanji and learning tenses and grammatical components and construction of a sentence. It's also the pronunciation. Because again, as I said, my goal is to be able to speak conversational Japanese enough as a tourist to be able to be respectful when I visit the country. Um, and like anywhere else, I don't want to have to use Google Translate. I don't want to have to use a phrase book that's quite basic and not always, a correct usage of the language when you're trying to translate and put across what you want when you're on holiday in these places. I get that most natives of any country appreciate um, your attempts to try, but I'm also acutely aware that in Asia, because of the cultural difference and being quite a enclosed bubble um, to foreigners just in general, let alone tourists, as much as they may enjoy some of us going over there to engage in the culture and their way of life and such. In Japan, I feel it would be the height of disrespect and very rude to be trying to say something and the accent, the westernized English accent is always there. Um, and I not like I don't want to be seen as butchering their language when I'm attempting to try, because then you just become a target of ridicule, or you might just piss a lot of people off and make people angry, and that's the last thing I want, especially if I'm going to be going on a holiday with my kids. So it's something that I'm trying to take pride in and passion in to be able to achieve this goal, which I hope anyone who watches my stream and these videos when they're on YouTube on my channels can appreciate. And I hope you do too. I hope you take it serious enough to want to also achieve that if learning this language. Because I fully believe if you're going to do something, you don't do it half-heartedly, you do it fully, with full intent, with your full beans and weight behind it. If you do, you're more likely to succeed, right? Anyway, on to slide 9.
はい、は、
Ha,
は、い、
い、
い、はい、
はい。
はい、
Now, this is a new one. So, I'm fully aware of I as a kanji. I'm fully aware of wa as a kanji. But in this instance put together, wa becomes hai. So, is wa or is it ha? If it's both, it's getting modified by what's after. So this would be the case where a comparative piece of learning would be where in English I before E except after C, or E is a magic letter that changes and modifies previous letters in the words that come before it. So in this instance, E here, the
い、
E modifies
は、
wa to become ha. Because as we've learned in the previous lessons, um, otokonoko wa tabete imasu. We've already had wa. This is one of the kanji symbols I look out for to see where I'm at in a sentence or in a word, right? Because it appeared so often, it's kind of burnt into my memory. So for it to now be modified by e to become
はい、
hai, that's fresh. That's new. Okay. Okay, let's note that down. We'll take that and we'll move on to slide 10.
いいえ、い、
E,
い、い、
e,
い、え、
e,
え、いいえ、
e.
いいえ、
Again, that lesson came across quite short. What are we at now? We're at half an hour. Okay, so we'll do this pronunciation one. I am going to leave it there. I'm going to do a short form today, because I do actually have other things that I need to do, with regards to my car and in real life, I've also got a music cover that I've been practicing for quite some time, and to do a one take through of track is quite brutal. I can only get through it a few times before I need to take quite a bit of a rest because it's a lot of shredding. But so yes, there we go. We've got 47 of these things complete. Obviously, in the first instance, I have to repeat a couple. Um, I will probably repeat this tomorrow going into the next module, or the next part of the lesson. Purely because this one was only 10 slides long, and I'm a bit pressed for time today. But it'd be interesting to revisit. So I'll do that tomorrow along with the new module. But yes, so there's our pronunciation in lesson 2. Let's return to the home screen. So yeah, tomorrow will be we've done we've got 2 pronunciations. Okay. Yeah, so we'll do pronunciation 1 again, and then we'll do pronunciation lesson 2. It looks like, as you can see, we've got Unit 1, Lesson 2 pronunciation, but then it also repeats Unit 1, Lesson 1. So we're going to be doing this bit here again here. And then we can see with vocabulary and vocabulary here, we go Lesson 2 and then Lesson 1 again. So we are actually re-repeating what we've already done again. I assume it's to combine the previous learning of core lesson 1. Now that's good because we've already turned around and done this through twice, 3 times, 3 times in total. I've gone backwards in a couple of videos to rinse and repeat what we've gone over and review. Then I've also turned around and done a chunk. So we did the core lesson, then we did the vocabulary, grammar, and the reading. Then we did the writing, the listening, and the reading. And then the speaking and the review is actually in the 4 hour and 20 minutes long form video, which you can find before the break, I believe, one of the breaks, memory serves, which is where I went through this entire section just straight through. So anyone who missed anything from the individual videos that I put up on stream and then exported to YouTube, that you will find that I have repeated this 2 or 3 times now. We've gone into core lesson 2 this week. We've done core lesson 2, and then today we've done the pronunciation. Tomorrow we're going to repeat this pronunciation and go into pronunciation lesson 1 that's part of this section. So this section is rinse and repeating the entirety of the first. And I hazard a guess that yes, so core lesson 3 does exactly the same here. So what we're going to do, like I say, we'll go through this, we'll do the 2 pronunciations, and we'll move into the vocabularies, and we'll do them. We'll do both of them, and we'll do it in blocks of 2. So we're still repeating the previous stuff, and then by the time we get to core lesson 3, we're going to be repeating the stuff in lesson 2. So I don't need to go back on finding this out. I don't need to go back and repeat it to put up these separate videos. So hopefully, if you're following my journey with me and following this documentation, you will be able to follow along and get a refresher on these videos that have already been put up, because the program is going to chuck us back into those lessons just to make sure that we've got them. That's actually really good for the program to do. It means I don't have to do it manually like I did for the first, because I didn't even check any of this. I just jumped straight in. Let's do this. Let's make a video. Let's go. So that's good to know. That means that that's less work for me. Well, that's and by less work I mean in the way of producing a stream and a video, getting ready for it, and all the rest of it, and then also having to plan ahead into the next day the time allocation for doing a video. So that's good news. So yeah, tomorrow we'll do the 2 pronunciations again. We'll go into doing the 2 vocabularies, 5 minutes apiece. We'll see where we get to and how long that video is before moving on to the next, or maybe calling it there so that we've got some more bits to do later on in a week. But from now on, we'll be doing both blocks at the same time per video. Okay, so that's what I'll do moving forward from today. That's today's video. I'm going to keep it short and sweet and under 45 minutes. If I hope you've enjoyed what today's video has come to bring, even though it's been a little bit short and it's a little bit more of me talking more tips and research. That's the material for learning that section. As usual, if you need to recover or go over any of the bits, again, just pause the video where you need to, rewind it, go through it again. This is only pronunciation, so it's nice and short. It's only 10 slides long. And you can go at your own pace. You can rinse and repeat. If you need to turn around and check out anything else, check out the other videos in the Learn Japanese playlist. Go back and reference some bits, and see if you find it as challenging as I do, or if you're finding it easy. Let me know what you think of the content as well, by the way, in the comments. I'd love to get some feedback. If you'd like to check out both of my channels, this goes up as a Twitch first, and then as soon as I finish the video, I end up immediately going to Twitch to export to YouTube. So thank you if you've been watching this as a live stream on Twitch. It's very much appreciated. Please like and follow me on Twitch. If you need to find my YouTube channel, the link is on my Twitch page. If you're finding this on YouTube and it's something that you've searched up, thank you very much for encountering this video and searching up my channel and coming and seeing what's going on over here. I'd very much appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel and give this video a like. You can comment on both videos if you so wish. Please like, follow, comment, share, subscribe on both platforms. It would be a tremendous help to me. I'm doing this out of love for wanting to do it and to document my journey. I'm just wanting to show what I'm doing and how I'm going about it. It just so happens I'm using this program. So if you're using this as resource, then thank you very much. Well done. I hope it's useful to you. If there's anything you want to see change, please let me know, again, in the comments below. If not, please join my Discord channel. Again, links are both on my Twitch page and my YouTube page. Whichever one you've happened to land on, you will find them on the About section, either above on the top of the page for the video, in the description below, or if specifically you're on the Twitch page, it'll be over to that side. I'm getting used to looking at the camera and doing which one's left and right. I've got to remember they're reversed. So yeah, I hope you've enjoyed today's video. I'm going to sign off there and go do some of my jobs in real life, try and get some more work done on my car. I shall return tomorrow. As I said, we will go over the pronunciation section and the repeat that it gives us, and we'll go through the vocabulary and the repeat that it gives us as well. And depending on the time constraint, we'll see if we go to the grammar section as well. That's it from me. As always, take care, stay safe, keep sane, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.